So the writer's strike and the actor strike is over. The effects of COVID seems to be over. So will 2025 be the bounce back year for movies coming up? My anticipated films of 2025 and bounce back year, here we come. Well, welcome, friends, to Mark at the Movies. And I thought it would be an awesome idea to be able to look to the future and what are my most anticipated films of 2025 coming up. Last year, 2024, was a great year for movies. We got a whole bunch of amazing films, but the reality is that the release dates, a lot of stuff got pushed because of the writer strikes, and we didn't get, well, we got what? One Marvel film. We got no DC films, and this year, a full slate of films coming up. So here are my top 10 films that are the most anticipated coming on up in 2025. So here we go. In reverse order, number 10, we have The Running Man. The Running Man is a remake or is a retelling of a short story by Stephen King, who wrote The Running Man under a pseudonym, Richard Bachman. Actually, if you read the Richard Bachman stuff, a lot of great short stories came out of Stephen King's pseudonym age. You think about The Long Walk, one of my all-time favorite Stephen King stories. Anyways, Running Man remake this year with the new It guy, Glenn Powell. He seems to be kind of the Mean Girls fetch right now. Stop trying to make Glenn Powell happen. But yet, here he is. He's that your generic leading movie star in The Running Man. And word is that they're trying to make it more grounded and more like the actual book instead of the 1980s Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man, which was basically Schwarzenegger in a colorful bodysuit running around cracking one-liners the whole time. And because Schwarzenegger's in it, it makes a bajillion dollars. So The Running Man, if they get it right, it could be pretty good. That's my number 10 on the list. Number 9, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Avatar 1, the original, and then also Avatar, The Way of Water, two of the biggest grossing films of all time, both $2 billion movie makers. And look, James Cameron, he knows how to make movies that put butts in the seats. Now, the reason it's so low on my list is because for me, The Way of Water in 2022, December 2022, it was basically a remake of the original Avatar. There wasn't a lot of new concepts going on in that film. So, but James Cameron, he seems to know what it takes to make a incredible visual film with sound and dynamics and just enough character in there to be able to get everyone to want to see his films and then probably forget about them in 6 months. So Avatar, Fire and Ash. Number 8, The Monkey. Another Stephen King adaptation, a short story by Stephen King. Two twin brothers find their dad's monkey toy in the attic, that thing. And was that Wizard of Oz? Anyways, find their toy monkey, and I guess it's a killer. So horror by Oz Perkins again. Oz Perkins, I loved his rendition of Longlegs last year. It was on my top 10 list of the year. Let's see what Oz Perkins has up his sleeve this year as far as his horror and tone and his take on Stephen King's The Monkey. Number 7, my number 7 on the list is Ballerina. I love the John Wick films. It's one of those unusual series where you got 4 films and every movie got better and clearer The John Wick guys know what they are. They don't do anything else but what they are. They're fun, over the top action films, and they leaned into that narrative. Real fun movies. Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. So she gets this whole movie where she can just let go with all the action. And look, they've set the bar high with the John Wick series, and I'm hoping that with this prequel, rumors are Keanu Reeves is even in it a little bit, that it will really deliver. Number 6, Wicked for Good. So, Wicked, the second part. Remember, Wicked came out in November. It was on my top 10 list, and it was part one of 2 parts. So, Wicked for Good will come out again in November, and it will tell the second half of the Broadway musical, but in movie form. The first one nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting, Best Actress, and a whole slew of awards, and looking forward to Wicked for Good. Number 5, now we get to my top 5. And look, I'm a gigantic Marvel fan. I'm a gigantic superhero fan. I love summer movies and going to see them on the biggest IMAX screen with the sound, and on opening night with as many people as I can, so that you get this shared experience. Movies are meant to be shared. So number 5, Captain America, Brave New World. Now, I haven't been blown away by the trailers yet. I think that Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk will be interesting. I think he's really been kind of hulking out all the time in his old age as it is, but that seems to be pretty organic. Harrison Ford hulking out, and then the new Captain America as well. So really kind of looking forward to that, and looking forward to Marvel kind of trying to turn the corner. They had one film last year with Deadpool and Wolverine. Full disclosure, I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, but I thought they really nailed it with Deadpool and Wolverine and what they were going for, and not really pulling any punches. So really hoping that Captain America will continue to help turn the tide with this, well, with a bunch of lazy storytelling and poor weaving of the main narrative that Marvel has been doing in the last couple years. Number 4, the other 2 of 3 Marvel movies, Thunderbolts. Now, when they announced Thunderbolts, I was not excited. I thought, wow, why in the world would they want to release basically a generic Suicide Squad, which is really what I thought it was. Then the trailers started to come out, and it looks pretty good. It looks like a fun time at the movies. It looks like Marvel's kind of getting back to what they're known for: big action, humor pieces, and a tight story narrative with lots of action. So really hoping that the Thunderbolts continues Marvel's trend of turning things around, and we have lots to cheer about, and lots of cameos, and lots of great action set pieces in the Thunderbolts. Number 3, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I thought Dead Reckoning was one of the most underrated films of 2022. A great action movie. Tom Cruise is always good. Look, all he has to do is this. Is run and say a couple things. Things blow up. He jumps off a plane. He jumps off a mountain, and the movie's great. It just is. He knows how to make a great movie. Most of the Mission Impossible movies have been excellent films. I have a feeling that this is probably, maybe, I'm going to guess, Cruise's last time out as Ethan Hunt. Is this the 10th Mission Impossible movie? 9th or 10th? It's a lot. So he's getting in his, I think he's 60, 61. So really hoping this goes out with a final reckoning, a final bang. Mission Impossible, my number 3 movie of the year, most anticipated. 2 left. Number 2, James Gunn's Superman. Now, to be honest, I've never been a DC fan. I've always been Marvel. Most of the DC films have really fallen short, and fallen short in ways that were disappointing. I'm not going to go over all of it, but Batman versus Superman and the second Wonder Woman film and Aquaman, etc. Not great. But James Gunn has never made a bad film. And as a matter of fact, I would argue that the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is one of the best trilogies ever made. And I would go further and say that I don't think of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 as a superhero movie or as a Marvel movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is just simply one of the best films ever made. It is in my top 25 of all time, no doubt about it. And if James Gunn is making a Superman movie and he's putting his heart and soul, he's writing it, he's directing it, he's casting it, it's going to be a great movie. I'm going to find the biggest screen I have in my area, and we're going to go see that on opening night. James Gunn's Superman. In James Gunn I trust. It's going to be an awesome movie this summer. And my number one film anticipated of 2025 is Marvel's Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, they have tried for years to get Fantastic Four right. They tried it with some of the movies back in the early 2000s with Jessica Alba, etc., and those were limited. They tried to reboot it again in 2014, and that was a disaster. I really think that Kevin Feige has the secret sauce with this cast. Pedro Pascal and the whole cast, and having Galactus and the Silver Surfer in this movie. I am so excited. And maybe even a Doctor Doom cameo, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom cameo, maybe in the movie. But really excited to see Fantastic Four as my number one anticipated movie of the year. What are yours? What are your most anticipated movies of 2025? Write down in the comments. Do you disagree? Are there other movies that you'd like to see? Would you make the list different? Let's have a conversation together, and let's go to the movies.